Hey everyone, Bill McLeod here. Sorry, I lost a lot of videos, so I'm going to redo them, but I think I can redo them better so that they're in the library so whenever you need them. So this one will be on the N4 notice. So what is an N4 notice? An N4 is a legal form under the Residential Tenancies Act. It's used when rent is unpaid, even if partially unpaid or you're missing any of it, you get an N4. It's section 59 of the Residential Tenancies Act. It gives landlords the right to serve this notice after rent is due. Not an eviction notice. So get that in your head. This is just an N4. It's to collect money. It's not an eviction notice. It gives tenants a chance to pay and stay. So example, if your rent is due March 1st, and it's not paid by March 2nd, boom, you can serve an N4. Most landlords don't do that, and landlords for you, as a landlord, I usually wait about 3 or 4 days and sometimes contact them. And if they said they were going to pay me in the next 24 hours and didn't, I would say, no offense, but I have to serve an N4. And a lot of tenants get confused and think they're being evicted, and we say it's not an eviction notice, it's a notice to pay. But if I have to send this out again or again, then it will be an eviction notice. So how do you serve? So they have generally a 14 days to pay kind of notification on them. Okay, and if they haven't paid in 14 days, then you're going to proceed to the next level. But right now, 14 days to pay. So you can serve it in person, mail, email with consent, posting on the door. One thing I want to say about the email, when you sign a lease now, tenants look for this and landlords should be looking for this. I think it's on the standard lease where you can check off the email and put down your email saying this, we both agree that this counts as a way of service. Okay, so that should be on there. So now the N4s have to be precise. Okay, so there was a case called BDH versus Hool, and the eviction tossed, the whole thing got tossed, the case, because there was a 20-cent mistake on the N4. Okay, so it's got to be precise. Now, filling out the N4, name every tenant listed on the lease. I guess this is more for landlords, but tenants, you should know this too. Only include the rent owed. Don't include NSF fees or utilities or deposits, just the rent owed. It's mandatory that it's accurate. Don't round it up. Don't estimate. Include the correct termination date as well. Sign it and date it. If there's no signature, it's void. Okay, so they're really picky on this stuff. That's why it's good having a good property management company, because they should have experience doing this stuff, right? So, kind of a real life example. A landlord who served an N4 after March rent wasn't paid. The tenant paid in full 10 days later. Guess what? The notice is void. But if they hadn't, the landlord was clear to file for an eviction. Okay? So, just to give you an idea, tenants, you have that 14 days to pay. Mistakes that you really need to avoid: serving it too early, including non-rent items, using the wrong service method, and incorrect notice period or missing termination date. So these got to be perfect. If the tenant doesn't pay or move, we're going to file a Form L1 at the Landlord Tenant Board. Bring your N4 and certificate of service. So the process, there's a legal process for it. This isn't a do-it-yourself eviction thing. The Landlord Tenant Board, the Residential Tenancies Act, has a process that must be followed. And when you put in these forms, you send them to the Landlord Tenant Board as well so they can have a copy of it. Okay? Okay, so anyway, you guys made it this far. Now you're already ahead of most landlords and you're ahead of most tenants. Drop a comment if you want to see a video on the L1. I'm probably going to do it anyway. So, and how to handle partial payments. It's always good to come up with an agreement. I'll tell you, I had a tenant who couldn't pay rent one time. The rent I think was $1,900 for them, and they did pay $1,000, but they were short $900. So what we agreed was for the next 9 months they would pay an additional $100 rent, and that worked out fine. They caught up and they paid. If it's a good tenant, you want to work something out with them, right? Okay, so that's it. I've lost my old YouTube page, so I'm trying to refill this page, and starting here. So if you have any questions, or if there's any videos you want to see, my goal is to attack all the different forms, different advice, different scenarios, what to do if there's rats, what to do if there's roaches, what to do if there's mold, tips for, I think I'm going to do one today on filling out your application and how to fill out an application properly and what landlords are looking for. So when you're out in the hunt for property, what are the landlords looking for? What is it that they really want? And I think that's it. But if you can subscribe, then you get notifications every time these come up. That helps me a lot. And like I said, I'm going to create the library, but I also want to do something I want to talk to you guys about. I kind of want to do a podcast of scenarios, right? So if you have a situation you'd like to talk about, we can talk about it. And just to inform everybody, so I'll tell you again, my goal behind this whole thing is there's no money for these videos. I get calls every day, and from Sky Property Management, which is my company, and sometimes as a real estate agent, sometimes I get calls because of being an ex-police officer. So asking me Residential Tenancies Act questions, and they're different from condos to trailer parks to stuff. They all have something slightly different with them. So I thought I would make a library of these videos, and then people could just see them as they want. What I hope for me is that promotes Sky Property Management, and then we can work with you. And also, there's a lot of what I hear out there is there's a lot of bad landlords, and there's a lot of great ones, but there's a lot of bad tenants, and there's a lot of great ones. But a lot of it is just confusion over what's happening. So tenants are getting taken advantage of. There's no secret about that. And there's landlords that have to deal with what we call professional tenants. And we need to tell landlords what to look out for. But there's a lot of people who've come in, bought 1 or 2 properties, and they're going to be an investor, they're going to be a landlord, they don't want to pay for property management. And that's where the problem starts. We have illegal suites. It's crazy what's going on out there. So I'm hoping that I can do some good in life. I do things, I do my acting, I do my real estate, property management, but I always believe somebody should be giving in life. So this is my way. I've kind of thought if I could help people, that would be great. So that's my goal in all this, is just to help. But I can't help if you don't help me help you. So if you have any questions, or if I make mistakes, because I do, feel free to tell me where you've seen a mistake and we'll fix it out. Anyway, I appreciate all of you, and please subscribe and comment if there's anything you want, or if you have a scenario you'd like us to hear. Thank you.